It has now been almost 1 year since Russia launched its full-scale invasion, and I'm here in Kiev to demonstrate Sweden's rock-solid and long-term support to Ukraine and the country's defense of its freedom, sovereignty and territorial integrity. Ukraine is really at the very top of our Swedish foreign policy agenda, as well as for our current EU presidency agenda. It is important to meet also in person and here, and with own eyes see the horrific impact of Russia's unjustified and unprovoked aggression. Matter of human lives, inconceivable trauma, widespread material and environmental destruction. You need to see it yourself, and I have done so today. Sweden and the EU condemn Russia's aggression against the peaceful and democratic neighbor in strongest possible terms. This is a war against Ukraine, but also a war against our common European security and against transatlantic values. It is essential to ensure that the international community continues to stand up for Ukraine, for the UN Charter, for the rules-based world order, and for every nation's independence and integrity. Ending Russia's war against Ukraine is a matter of global peace and security. Your peace plan deserves strong support. I also want to assure you that the tireless efforts to stop Russia's aggression continues. Sweden has consistently supported increasing the pressure on Russia through ambitious sanctions. We can expect a 10th package shortly. Putin is making a tremendous miscalculation if the Russian regime believes that time is on their side. Russia will not succeed. The stamina that you, your government, the Ukrainian armed forces and the brave people of Ukraine continue to show in defending your freedom continues to impress us all. I think you saw that last week in Brussels very, very clearly. I'm honored to be here and to meet so many courageous Ukrainians right now. Sweden was already prior to the full-scale invasion among the largest bilateral donors to Ukraine. Over the last year, our bilateral support has increased significantly to over 1.2 billion euros. We also provide substantial support via the EU, whose total support, including from member states, is at least some 67 billion euros. And I can assure you that Sweden will continue to provide as much support as is possible, politically, economically, and militarily. Our latest military support package is testament to this. The 51 infantry fighting vehicles, additional anti-tank weapons, and preparation for sending the artillery system Archer. These weapons will make a significant contribution to Ukraine's combat power. The training of the CVs will start very soon. The situation in the country is extremely dire, as you know better than anybody else. More than 17 million people are in urgent need of humanitarian support. Sweden is already a strong donor. Since 24th of February, we have donated some 135 million euros. This month, our Development Cooperation Agency will also decide on further humanitarian funds to Ukraine. The funds will be allocated to 7 partner organizations, among them several UN organizations and major NGOs, such as the ICRC and Save the Children. We have chosen to focus on partners that are able to access hard-to-reach areas in Ukraine, including areas near the front line and newly liberated areas. Another priority for us is the over 100,000 internally displaced persons living in collective centers. We will contribute to the recovery and the reconstruction of Ukraine. This is an enormous task for many years to come, and the work starts now. Ukraine is becoming the single largest recipient of all Swedish foreign aid already this year. I'm horrified to have seen the evidence of the most serious crimes today. We will continue working together to ensure full accountability. Plenty is already being done at the International Criminal Court and elsewhere. Those responsible must be brought to justice. We are working with Ukraine on the best way to do this, including in the core group for a tribunal on the crime of aggression. This is a fundamental interest for the entire international community. We will not rest until the perpetrators are held accountable. I want to convey Sweden's steadfast support for Ukraine's EU integration. We are impressed by reform progress despite ongoing war. Reforms, of course, must continue. Sweden has 30 years of experience in supporting Ukraine's reform efforts, and we are ready to accelerate our support. We welcome the decisive actions against all corruption. We will do all in our power to ensure Ukraine's rightful future as a member of the European Union. It is and shall be a merit-based process, of course, but we appreciate the forward-leaning conclusions from the European Council last week, and we work for further progress in coming conclusions during this spring. You are European, you belong to Europe, and you belong in the EU.